Today I learned what bukkake is.
Just today, really? Wow.
I'd heard the term before. I just didn't know the details,
We'll get to that pivotal scene in Ernest Saves Christmas with the bukkake.
That's actually a deleted scene from Ernest Goes to Jail.
I mean, kind of at the end of the movie a little bit.
Oh, no.
Oh,
yeah, it was a white Christmas.
Yeah.
What's that movie that a holiday hit? Don't ask Elaine, 'cause she'll say I haven't seen it.
Welcome to the Haven't Seen It podcast. This is a podcast where we bring people on the show, we get them really drunk, and they tell them about a movie that I've never seen before. And it's Christmas time, bitches. Oh, I'm a Link Zach also, so there's that.
Well, actually, it's I believe it is 3-4 days after Christmas.
The whole month of
Christmas is over,
December is Christmas time.
No, after Christmas.
The whole month of December.
Exclusively New Year's. Yeah. Okay.
Is Christmas time.
If that's what you say.
The New Year's is not until January. So that makes it Christmas.
Well, technically true. After Christmas, we no longer observe Jesus's birthday.
Questionable, but poorly inaccurate. Can you please stop wheezing in the back, please?
I'll do whatever I want.
Yeah, he will.
Okay.
Well, you've heard him.
The big baby child that'll do whatever he wants because he likes to wheeze. I'm so stressed.
How dare you address your podfather?
I got so nervous again.
Yes, it's our podfather, and he's brought along our pod daddy.
Pod daddy.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah.
You got to be pod daddy?
Yeah, I'm 2 C's thick daddy. That's right.
Oh, man.
It is the amazing, wonderful hosts of the Dr. DC podcast and Ghostfacers, a Supernatural Rewatch podcast. And the producers of the network that we're all on, Brain Freeze Podcast Network.
That's right.
Reid and Richard.
I'm so glad.
Dr. DC and producer Richard.
Howdy.
I'm so glad you agreed to doing what we told you, which is put us on this podcast.
Yeah. Notes came down from corporate, and they really felt you could benefit from having us on the show.
You really needed an us bump.
God, I wish we got an us bump.
God, I mean, I do, but
what?
Huh?
Stop.
Do you guys do cocaine? Is that what that is?
Well, it's funny that you bring that up.
No.
We
do
not.
It's been a white Christmas.
Nor have I ever.
Oh, really?
Don't ask anyone.
Yeah. Hey, why don't you smell this?
I'm so intrigued. Reid, what other things do you want us to keep from your wife and child?
Oh God, just how much shame I feel about the way I am.
The trips of McDonald's that you're probably going to take after this.
Yeah, all the discarded fast food bags in the trunk.
That's the skeletons in your closet.
At least you put them in the trunk.
Wrapper.
I have always just put them in the passenger seat until it's too embarrassingly high and I have to do something with it, which is then move it to the trunk.
That's what
those are my fast food bags screaming in the trunk.
Yeah.
But that's because you have no friends, so no one to, drive around.
It wasn't even funny what you said, Will. It was just rude and hurtful.
I know. I'm sorry.
Well, but that's what happens when Christmas is over and we no longer hold Jesus in our hearts.
Yeah, because we all know Christmas is about Yeezus.
Because apparently that's the hard and fast rule on the podcast.
Yeah. This is a Christian network. I hope you guys knew that.
Oh, I'm Catholic.
Oh my God. No, it's not.
Oh my God. What would be the problem?
We do a whole show about demons and ghosts.
Oh no.
Accurate.
That's very Christian.
Yeah.
We're telling people about we're speaking the gospel.
You're warning them.
That's right. Warding them. Ooh.
But
we are very happy to be here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, was that an intro for us?
Yeah.
I think you just took over our podcast. I think that's what that was.
We tend to do that.
I tried to interject in just a moment. Okay, listen up, bitches. Hey, you guys, shut up for a sec. Listen, you get to talk for like 90% of this podcast. So for once, just shut the hell up for a sec. Let us do our intro, okay? Will, what are we talking about today?
She knew our weakness was just like talking.
Shut up. Shut up.
Oh my God.
Will, just cut their track. Talk over them.
All right. Well, we are talking about the blue vested. I couldn't think of something. I was going to say blue vested babe himself, Ernest.
Oh. Is that okay? Yeah, Ernest.
E-World.
And of what he does, drink to save Christmas. Yeah, it's that one.
Yes.
Which I haven't seen any.
It's the second Ernest movie, I believe.
Wait, you haven't seen this one?
No.
I don't understand the podcast.
Listen, any Ernest movies. Yeah, actually, it's a great point there. I don't know why. I always feel very compelled to remind everyone that I haven't seen it. It's just my first instinct.
I don't know. How are we going to do this now?
I don't know.
If only there was some format for it. Perhaps if we had listened more and talked less, we might know how to do this podcast.
No, it doesn't sound right.
Well, why did you pick this movie? Well, I think Reid picked it.
Oh.
But why did you pick it collectively?
Actually, I didn't pick it. You gave me two choices. It was Ernest Saves Christmas
or Kill Yourself
or Scrooge.
And you kept choosing Kill Yourself.
Well, I was like, is there a third option? Or I just don't no, it was this or Scrooge. And I love Scrooge because my wife's family is like huge into it, and I've gotten really into that movie. And I was convinced. Convinced that that's what Richard was going to pick. And I was like, pick between these two. I was like, you can pick Ernest or you can pick Scrooge. And Ernest came out right away. Yeah. No hesitation. Richard was like, I've seen that movie a million times. We're doing Ernest.
Yeah. It's comedy gold there, baby.
It's true.
Baby.
Do you have a history with Ernest?
Yeah, well, that's the first of all. Like, have you ever seen any Ernest movie?
Listen, I know he's like or something like that. Sounds a bit like a chicken, maybe.
No, yeah,
definitely not. Absolutely
not.
Nope. So that answered my question.
No, are you sure though? Because I'm pretty sure he does.
Okay, first of all, it sounds more like this. That's how Ernest sounds.
No.
Is it?
Yeah, he goes, and then occasionally he goes. That's the way Ernest sounds.
Yeah, sounds close enough to a chicken.
That's.
I don't even think I get what this joke.
I thought we were doing a barnyard thing. I don't know.
Okay.
So the answer was no. No, you haven't seen any Ernest.
Can you actually do can you do an actual impression, please? Like, can you try?
Impression.
Do you mind just trying?
Okay, no. Yeah, here. Okay. Ernest P. Worrell here.
Yeah, that's it.
He's a little more gruff. He's more like a southern red green.
He's like a blue collar guy, yeah?
I'm just driving a cab.
He's like a handyman sort of character, but he started in commercials, and the commercials were always shot from like a first person perspective, and you were this guy named Vern, and Ernest would come over to your house and be like, hey, Vern, and he would like tell you about some random product. And he did a bunch of these commercials, and Ernest was such a big commercial character that they gave him movies.
It's funny you say that. The first Ernest commercial filmed in 1980 advertised as an appearance by the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders at Beach Bend Park, an amusement park near Bowling Green.
I can tell you're reading off a sheet. Your tone of voice is just bad. Step it up.
Wow. Aggressive.
Ernest was based on the Andy Griffith Show character Ernest T. Bass.
I feel like I'm in school again.
And I think he was like created, but with like Varney by the
this is better.
Nashville advertising agency, Cardin and Cherry, and was used in various local television and ads and campaigns. Whatever.
Jesus, that was natural.
I just want you to know. You try to read facts like that at me again, I will clock right out. I'll just check out.
Then you're not going to want to look at the rest of this page or the rest of the movie we have.
Just try.
So funny. But I think both of us were like big into. Oh Jesus! I mean, you're not going to just read that verbatim, though, right? Like that's just for reference.
I mean, like a casually off the cuff,
like the way you just did.
Yeah.
You should not look at the page and just go from your heart. That's what you should do.
Oh no, you asked for it.
Don't disappoint
but
me.
I think we both seen Ernest movies a ton. I remember like going to the video store and renting them like constantly.
Nerd.
Ernest Saves Christmas, Ernest Scared Stupid, Ernest Goes to Jail, all the big ones. Loved the character, loved those movies. But before watching it for this, I don't think I had seen an Ernest movie in like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that I had like memory loss because I know that I watched every Ernest movie, did not remember a single scene. I was just like, oh, this is all brand new to me.
Yeah, it definitely felt that way. Even though I have fond memories of Ernest, this is essentially the first time I watched this movie.
They do feel a bit like a fever dream.
Yeah.
I was getting some like Fear and Loathing vibes with some of the close-up cameras. It's,
that's especially all the like the first person Vern stuff. Yeah, that's true.
It's crazy that the last Ernest movie came out in 1998.
Crazy.
Is that casual?
That was pretty good.
Wacky. Yeah, no, that sounded much better.
It's Ernest in the radar slightly.
Because Jim Varney died in like the early 2000s or late 90s. He was like 50. He died really young. So there's no more Ernest movies after that.
Right.
Yeah, but they had started doing like 10 movies in production at the time.
That's fantastic.
What?
Thank you so much for that tidbit. I love that. Great. That's so great. Will, can you tell us about the drink?
You're just trying to skip right ahead.
His final movie, Ernest, Ernest the Pirate, in 2000 had nearly completed shooting at the time of his death, but got canceled and was never released.
Okay, I just want to officially petition that Richard should be pod father with all this kind of reading off the page, and I should be pod daddy because I'm playing it so cool.
I mean, I think you've literally just proved. Exactly.
I think he should be pod weird uncle, actually.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to have the listeners, like, we're going to do a poll, and we're going to find out.
Yeah.
So both of you step your pussy up, and let's see what we can bring to the table. I've been watching a lot of RuPaul Drag Race.
Good Catholic girl.
Oh,
I do RuPaul now. So.
Oh. Yeah, I used a Drag Race quote in one of my meetings the other day, and nobody knew what I was talking about.
No.
My toddler has started calling her daycare teacher sassy things because she's watching a lot of Drag Race.
That's fantastic.
She literally said the words like "get over here, sassy thing" to it.
Really?
Damn.
She also calls fat guys at the grocery store big guys.
She does call large people big guy, which is
big
problematic.
She's going to be so fucking cool. Oh, man. I can't wait.
Yeah. Is it one of those things where like two ugly people make a hot person? Is that the situation?
Are you saying that me and my wife aren't cool?
Yeah.
You know damn well she's cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
Okay. Never mind.
Okay, the drink.
Oh, yeah, podcast.
Well, the drink for this one is called Orlando Snow. You'll find out why, Alenka.
Okay.
By the end of this movie. And it is eggnog. I would say like 3/4 eggnog and then 1/4 orange juice blended with some ice. And you can add a bit of rum in there if you want, as well as a little bit of vanilla for a little flavor. And top that with some whipped cream and orange zest. That's what you get when you get an Orlando Snow.
Where did you find this recipe?
I did all of that.
No, you didn't.
I might have hijacked a recipe that was like called eggnog Julius.
Yeah, because it's actually tasty.
Okay, I haven't tried mine yet. I basically did that whole thing, except I didn't find non-dairy whipped cream because we needed non-dairy stuff, and so because also we needed non-dairy stuff, it's almond eggnog that I've got.
Yeah, I got almond eggnog as well.
Oh yeah, baby!
I gotta say it looks like discolored semen.
I told you. It's Chester Cheeto cum. I told you.
I haven't had a single sip yet. Richard had a sip. He said it tasted pretty good.
This is also my first time having alcohol in a year, so let's do this.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna have a sip now, live on cam. Here.
Oh, do you like it?
Okay, I don't dislike it.
It's like a creamsicle.
It's weird. Yeah,
it is a creamsicle.
It does a little taste like a cream.
It's like a cream pie-sicle.
I hate you guys.
Boo.
That's the like R-rated snowman movie.
Cocky.
There it is.
Oh, thanks, Alenka.
Yeah, Alenka Googled bukkake before we got on mic. It was great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Will, you should have recorded it.
Is this the sort of stuff that your listeners enjoy?
Oh yeah. Is this going to be far to left field?
I feel like we might get a new fan base after this episode. And you know what? I'll take the viewers that I can get.
Yeah, actually, the drink kind of looks like...
We're actually going to start an OnlyFans for this podcast afterwards.
Yeah, there it is.
It's just going to be
It kind of looks like a group bukkake, but one guy didn't get the memo.
I just brought orange.
You know what I'm saying?
That's through orange slices. There.
Oh no, yeah, actually, the orange is from the orange slices because they got to like rehydrate after each.
Or a palate cleanser.
Yeah, definitely depending where you are.
Let's find out why there's orange zest in this.
Oh yeah, actually, I'm quite excited. Takes Florida.
Reid, Richard, how does this movie start?
Right. So we open the first real scene of the movie is like a plane. Oh my god.
I tried.
Talk to
Richard
me.
is
What's
putting
going
the
on?
movie on. We are so not confident that we could do this without looking at Richard's script that the movie is running in the background. So the first real scene of the movie is basically like a plane lands at the Orlando airport. We're in Florida, and all these people are getting off the plane. And it's after we've seen this like montage of all the Norman Rockwell kind of like Christmas imagery, those kind of nice Santas. And we see an old guy that looks like Santa, and he's getting off the plane with this businessman, and they're having this chat. And he's like, do you come to Florida often? And the old guy's like, every year. And the guy's like, are you here for like business or whatever? He's like, my job brings me down here, or like whatever. This old guy's being very coy, straight up that it's Santa. But
it's like those goddamn Hallmark movies where it's like, this is taking in like Carroll, Alaska. And then it's like, oh, we don't know what that local like shipping company does. They're just real busy around this time of the year. Like,
they're playing it real coy. But essentially,
he does a little winky poo to some kids in that airport.
Yeah. It's problematic.
No, it's not. He's a nice Santa.
They were landing from Toronto.
Yes,
they
mentioned that they come from Toronto, which means that even as Santa Claus, with all of the magic of Santa, he can't even get a fucking direct flight.
Not his
he's
fault.
getting like routed through a hub. It's like it means
he's
he probably
being
took
casual.
It means he probably took fucking Air Canada and they lost his bags and shit like that. Which is probably true because he gets to Florida and he wears the same shit for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
I think it's safe to assume Air Canada lost his bags. Or because of the era, it might have even been Canadian Airlines.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're pretty long ago.
That's right.
But yeah, so they land. Santa is in Florida. You don't 100% know why. And this businessman, they end the conversation. The businessman says like, oh man, I really wish for a white Christmas. And this Santa guy goes, I'll note that down. I'll make a note. It's just a very funny way to introduce Santa. He's just in like a beige suit in an airport.
It was weird that guy flashed a swastika as he walked away though.
Jesus.
So weird. So what's this movie rated?
This is definitely like a family movie. It's definitely rated
like
G or PG. Yeah. Probably PG because there's so much, violence.
Is there?
I mean, it's people get hurt, and that's all that comedy was for kids in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they
Probably
didn't care
G
though. I wouldn't
then.
be surprised to learn that this was like a G-rated movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure.
I will say the guy playing Santa, this is very important to me.
Yeah.
The guy playing Santa is the voice actor who played the Sultan in Aladdin.
No way.
That's right.
Yeah. Now I will
So
only envision the Sultan as Aladdin, from Aladdin as Santa, and it makes me
He kind of looks like that.
It took me,
Squishy
I mean,
boy.
they clearly modeled the Sultan character on him because he looks a lot.
Squishy boy must look.
Yeah.
Again, very problematic.
Well, I mean, he's not playing the Sultan here.
I just mean him playing the Sultan.
Listen, we don't have time to unpack all the mistakes Disney's
Disney.
made.
Good God, what do you
That's what we're doing
expect?
here.
Technically, this is under the Disney umbrella because it's a Touchstone movie. But Touchstone was like,
they're like
their studio
serious,
where they're like,
edgy.
we can't put the Disney name on this because it's a little too rough and tumble.
Yeah.
So after the airport, we cut to Ernest driving a cab number 69, which by the way made me laugh so hard.
That doesn't, yeah.
Because I'm not sure that in the 90s 69ing even existed. Did people 69 back
come
then?
on.
I don't even know if they do now. I think it's a myth.
In the
There's a really great bit here. So we learn that Ernest is like big into Christmas. This guy says he's got a meeting and he's got to get there fast. And Ernest starts crazy driving. And this amazing physical comedy bit is the guys in the back seat sliding back and forth on the bench seat as Ernest weaves through traffic until eventually he falls all the way out of the cab, but he's just frozen in fear. He just ends up on the side of the road, like frozen in the same sitting position.
I legit thought he was dead, to be honest.
Which would have been hilarious.
Yeah. I was like, what?
The Santa was the one that took his cab?
No, this is just like a random. This is someone random is in his cab. We're just catching up with Ernest here.
Oh, sorry.
Because we previously saw Ernest at camp before this movie.
Oh, yeah. I guess, yeah, that's right. Yeah. There's, Ernest is kind of Jim Varney, the actor, is sort of like Jim Carrey type in that he's got that sort of rubber face kind of thing. Yep. So as he's trying to move this guy and get him back in the cab, you see like he's like doing all the face stretching things. It's that's
funny. The problem. The great thing about Ernest is how much of like a physical like actor he is. So explaining it is really challenging.
Yeah, I mean, this is maybe the wrong medium in which to be talking about an Ernest movie.
Then he makes this like weird face.
Yeah.
Google it. Just Google it.
Just Google it.
We're cutting back and forth. So we see Ernest in his cab, and then we cut back to the airport. We see like Santa going through customs, and the guy's like, "Santa Claus, that's your name," and he goes, "That's what I'm known by." And this is clearly pre 9/11. He's just like, "Yeah, all right," stamps the passport, lets him in.
Here, take your knife and get out of here.
And then Santa says, like, "Thank you, Skippy," and the guy's like, "Like, how did you know I was Skippy?"
Because.
Cut to outside the airport. Ernest screams over the hill through a bunch of luggage.
Yes.
Drops this like completely petrified man off at the airport. Again, pre 9/11, because like a car driving that recklessly towards an airport gets stopped.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. You don't get that close to an airport driving like that.
No, not anymore.
No.
I've
tried. He's yelling and mumbling so much shit. Like half the stuff I can't even understand what he's saying. He's just like throwing shit and being like, "Oh, I'll get you," and he's not even enunciating sometimes.
Well, he's kind of just describing what he's doing, because he's trying to get the luggage out of the trunk, and he pulls so hard he rips it open. He's like, "Oh, here's the luggage. I'll kick some of these under the car." He's just like describing what he's doing.
Weird. Yeah. How much of this movie is improvised?
I mean, that's a good question. I don't know. Check your notes, Richard. How much of this movie is improvised?
You don't have that info.
Speaking of improvising, can you just off the cuff tell us how much of this movie was improvised?
So typically the script is there, but it says like Ernest does something silly, but it doesn't actually give any specific notes. So he just does something really stupid and silly, but it doesn't say, like, it just says that you struggle to get the bag open, and that's when he just sort of grabs it and throws it around.
I will say there's something odd in that airport scene where he gets the petrified guy onto the luggage cart, runs him forward, and then they hit a thing, and the guy flips forward like into the baggage load in, but they're still outside the building. Like, did you used to just drop your bags in like a chute outside the building and then just?
I think I've seen that before in older movies. Yeah, I think that was a thing.
See, doesn't even. There's no one even there to check in with. I don't know how they know what plane each thing goes on.
That's a good question.
The whole setup is very strange.
Stop looking at movies so critically and just enjoy.
Listen, it's not. It's December 29th or whatever. I can be as critical as I want. I no longer have the spirit of Christmas in my heart.
Those were the good old days when you could commit a terrorist act and just drive away. So much harder now.
Jesus. We see them unload these giant crates, the cargo from a plane.
Yeah, we're switching now to a plane. Oh, yes. And you get the two titular characters that are in all the Ernest movies.
They're not the titular character. The titular character is Ernest.
No, I think these guys are the stars. No, these are the stars.
Yeah, these guys are the saves.
Yeah.
Well, these guys are Ern and the other one's Est.
Oh,
that's why they're the titular.
I don't understand.
Is this what she does every time she gets confused during these episodes?
I mean, to be fair, we're not making this easy.
I mean,
we cut these two guys who are in every Ernest movie, and they're just like bumbling. Like,
are they the main characters or are they not?
No, they're barely in this movie.
That's just the main character, but there's always these like tertiary characters that you cut to. There's sort of these like two bumbling, like
one's a really big guy, one's a tiny little guy.
They're kind of like henchmen, but for no one.
Yes,
like
exactly.
Like
that's a great way
sort
to
of
describe
vibe, you know?
They're always just like characters in all of the Ernest movies, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're unloading these giant crates, and they don't know what's up with them, but they're these sort of big mysterious crates. You assume that it's connected to Santa somehow.
Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Ernest picks up Santa and starts driving him away in the cab.
He tells Ernest that he's on his way to inform a local celebrity named Joe Carruthers that he has been chosen to be the new Santa Claus.
Yeah, and Joe is like a local like children's entertainer who had like a kids show on like local TV or whatever. You learn that like his show just got canceled and he's not sure about his career and stuff, but you're supposed to infer that this is a guy who's very generous of spirit and has like a childlike quality, and he would make a good next Santa. Basically.
Yeah, Ernest even like remembers him pretty fondly. He's been around for a long time. He's all about like
Santa is going off to pick the next Santa.
Yeah, essentially.
Yeah.
So they're driving in the cab, and a Christmas tree falls off a truck, and Ernest swerves to miss it in a way that demonstrates more care than he showed the guy that previously fell out of his cab. And he saves this Christmas tree, and Santa in the cab is like, wow, you really love Christmas, don't you, Ernest? And he goes, yes, I do. Christmas time is the greatest time. And he has some big sort of monologue about like,
do the whole thing. But Santa's in the back seat, just sort of like covered in Christmas tree.
Yeah.
It's very funny.
Well, does he do more than one John Wayne impression in this movie?
Yes, multiple times he breaks out a John Wayne.
Right?
He often does that one.
Yeah, I think that's in his like it's in his like toolbox of things he can do.
He's like the actor Jim Varney is like a classically trained actor as well as like an improviser.
He always plays a woman at some point in every movie. Like not that he plays a woman, but he always plays Ernest disguised as a woman.
Yes, which I think is better.
Movie. Yes, slightly
less problematic.
He doubtfires it. He doesn't Medea it.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, that's right.
This drink's actually pretty good. Maybe the first, because it's the first time I've had alcohol in a year, but this is all right.
You're so much further through that drink than I thought. We get a quick little shot again of those two bumbling guys in the warehouse.
Yeah.
Because there's just a lot of intercuts. It's actually kind of a weirdly confusing opening, but it does help cut a bunch of time off the movie.
It's true.
To do all this intercutting.
Because they're basically really going like, Santa's here. He's trying to find the new Santa. Ernest is a cab driver. He picks up.
We don't know that yet, though. Or does he say that?
He doesn't say it, but like we know the movie's not especially subtle about it.
That was a big surprise for me, though.
Was it? Yeah. Were you not paying attention?
I might have been half paying attention.
Yeah. At any rate, the guys in the warehouse look at the big crates and it says like hold for helper elves, and you go like, oh, it's a Santa crate. What's it got? Like,
these guys think that's a dude's name.
Yes. Yeah, they do.
They think it's supposed to be like elms or something. Yes. Like they think the V is an M or something like
helper
that.
Elms.
Like, helper elms.
Yeah. I love that elms is the thing that they're like, I know what that is, but helper, that's obviously a regular first name for a person.
And now we basically cut to yet another character.
Yes.
Saying it out loud, you realize how insane all of these cuts are.
Yes. We run into a runaway teenage girl who's trying to basically like
run away.
She bought a meal. Away. Yeah. I mean, basically that's what she's doing. That's like all she does.
Dash,
dine and dash. That's what she's doing. Her actress's name is Noelle Parker.
Noelle.
Yeah. There's a few Christmas related like crew members and like actors, because when I was watching the credits, I was like, that's Christmas related.
Well, even more so, she was actually born on Christmas Day.
What?
This is
maybe
insane.
that's why they named her Noelle.
This is
in
just
1971.
insane.
So she runs.
I don't know. I'm just remembering this off the top of my head.
She's running away from this waiter who knows that she's trying to dine and dash. She runs into the street in front of Ernest's cab.
Oof.
He has to stop. She hops in and says, "Go, go, go!" And then she starts spinning this lie about like how she escaped this basement where she was trapped with rats and stuff. Here's a John Wayne. Well, not to worry, little lady. You're safe with us. So now the cab has our three main characters. We've got Ernest. We've got I can't remember what this character's name is.
Holly?
No,
Harmony Star. Harmony Star.
And then
seriously,
we've got
name.
Santa in there.
Yeah. And then they get to the Children's Museum where they're going to meet Joe Carruthers.
The Orlando Children's Museum featured in this movie was actually the Orlando Science Center. Fun fact.
Wow, what a thing to just pull out of your head.
Which was moved to a new location.
You're an expert.
The building is now used for the city's annual Shakespeare Festival and theater performances, ironically.
Wow.
Shakespeare.
You're bringing strong Ghostfacers energy to this.
I don't know how to not prepare, okay? We're not producing this. We're not hosting this. I got to do something.
No. I want
Santa,
you to be genuine.
Santa tries to pay for the cab and it's all just fake money. It says fun time on it or something.
Yeah, like somebody clearly gave it to him.
Yeah. So again, it's Santa's just like, oh, I don't know what money is. I'm Santa.
And Ernest is like, ass, buddy.
Oh, really? Does he or no? No, he wouldn't. He doesn't?
Well,
No.
he does do another he does a Cool Hand Luke reference. And he's just like, what we've got here is a failure to remunerate.
No, he says accumulate.
Yeah,
it would have been better if
yeah.
it was remunerate, or remunerate. Yeah. But again, we're seeing how nice and kind Ernest is. He just lets him go. Goes, no, it's a pleasure to meet you. Blah 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 blah, and he just lets him go. Ernest is just a nice guy. He's just happy to do the job. Which in a later scene comes back as Ernest, you fucking clod. This is a cab. You have to take money.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So Santa comes in and introduces himself to the receptionist at the museum and is asking where he could find Joe Carruthers. And I just want to point out that the fashion in this scene is incredible.
Oh,
Go
yeah.
on.
Insane 90s print shorts. Everyone looks like they're dressed like the opening titles of Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So then we finally get to meet Joe Carruthers, who's got a beard that speaks to I want to say that it's the very Jewish look he's got going on.
He looks like he just finished playing Tevye in the community theater.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know what that is.
Fiddler on the Roof.
Thank you.
Yeah. He's got strong community theater.
Have you
Tevye
not
vibes.
seen that?
No, I haven't. Thanks.
Oh my God. Can't wait for the 6-hour episode you have to do on Fiddler on the Roof.
No,
we got to do the Hamilton one first.
Oh God.
Oh yeah. We would be on for that
Alexander
one.
Hamilton.
Oh, so you have seen that.
I have seen Family Guy.
So Joe is doing a puppet show for kids. He's very friendly and the kids love him.
Yeah.
And you're yeah, this guy would be a great Santa.
He's got real Tommy Bahama vibes going on.
Yeah. He's kind of got a Mr. Rogers-y kind of persona, but the look of the guy that meets James Bond at the
airport. I do like how he's not a perfect human. You know what I mean? He's not just this perfectly awesome guy. Not that he's terrible, but he's rough around the edges in certain ways.
Wait, what does he look like for those of us that haven't seen the reference that you're talking about?
Kind of, he's in a Hawaiian shirt. He's a little, chunky. He's a bigger guy. He's got a big beard, but it's not necessarily groomed. He looks like a young out of work Santa.
Yeah.
It's true.
On vacation.
But again, he has lost his gig, with his TV show. We see his smarmy agent roll up with the rolled up Miami Vice jacket.
Nice.
He throws his keys. He throws his keys to a mailman as if he was a valet.
The idea that
it's don't scratch it. Throws
the idea that a children's museum would have a valet.
Yeah,
so funny. So funny.
It's a great joke.
Santa is about to say, he literally is about to say the words, "You're going to be the new Santa," and the agent shows up and says Joey, baby, you got a shot at this big movie role. It's called Christmas Sleigh. It's a holiday flick. It's a very sort of slimy, overly tanned kind of agent.
I mean, you're never not like a slime ball when you roll up your suit jacket sleeves.
Right.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, that's a great look. I wish they would bring that back.
I did that every high school prom. That was me.
Did you? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I love that rolled up look.
I only roll up sleeves because often sleeves aren't long enough.
Right.
I mean, that's true.
And then you want to pretend it is by just rolling it up. No, me too.
Yeah, it was a choice. I didn't have to do this.
Yeah. What I did to my body.
So at any rate,
those nuggets.
Santa gets interrupted and basically he goes to say like, I can prove to you I'm Santa. I've got my bag right here. And he's like, oh, fuck, I left it in the cab. He doesn't say fuck, but he's like, oh, fuck, I left it in the cab.
Well, they allowed to have one fuck in a PG-13.
Not in a G movie.
Oh, no. But
yeah.
Remember, guys, it's Toy Story. It's rated G. We get one fuck. Let's use it wisely.
You got a fuck in me. It's weird. That's where they chose to put it.
Just one line of that song.
Yes. Buzz Lightyear, a fuck command.
Yeah. Santa begins to worry when he discovers a sack is missing and becomes discouraged because of his increasing forgetfulness.
Yeah, does he become discouraged?
Well, he's becoming forgetful because he's losing the Christmas magic.
Yeah.
He's 151 years old.
But this is where we cut to that scene where Ernest is back at like the cab, like dispatch, like at the depot, and we see that the bag is in the cab.
Yeah.
He still has Harmony with him, and his boss is like, you moron, it's a cab, you drive, they give you money, it's not a charity. He's like one of those classic like moves, like, I ain't running a charity here, you're fired.
And bring me pictures of Spider-Man.
Yeah. He throws the bag and he throws the tree and all this stuff that Ernest was just collecting in this fucking cab. And so Ernest is,
and he's apparently adopted this runaway. Like, why is she still with him?
Yeah, I mean, we sort of understand why Ernest would keep looking out for her, because we're sort of setting him up to be such a nice guy, but we don't really know why she's hanging around.
No. She got nowhere else to go, I guess. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Because then they go to Vern's place next, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think like one of the next stops for them is Vern, because when he saves the tree, he says, I got a buddy who could use this tree.
Yeah, but the agent leaves the guy, and now he's just again talking to Santa, who's like trying to like explain what like this whole predicament, but Joe's not believing him because he's like, I'm magic, but it's like fucking my fucking sack's gone.
The agent is like, this old guy bothering you? I'll call the cops. So Joe, again, we're trying to demonstrate the Christmas spirit of people, is saying he just seems like a confused old man.
Yeah,
I'll talk politely to him. I'll say I have an appointment. But, you know, he thinks he's Santa. That's cute. Like, it's fine. He's harmless. He's not pulling a knife on me. Yeah. So the agent keeps calling him Mr. Santos because he thinks he's confused and doesn't know his name. So he keeps calling Santa Mr. Santos, even though Santa couldn't be less Spanish.
Right.
Well, that's just his long track record of playing people of color, right?
Well, yeah, exactly. Right. See, you get it. It's problematic. That's all I'm here to do.
Oh no,
it's fine.
It's very funny. He's very much like, my name's fucking Santa Claus. I always like when they're not trying to like play coy about it. He's just like, yeah, like I'm willing to tell everybody I'm Santa if you would just listen.
Yeah. He's not saying like Nicholas.
Yeah, he's not playing coy at all. He's just like bumbling around, being like, hey, I'm Santa, and they're like, yeah, sure, whatever, pal.
I mean, without giving too much away, we do learn later that at one point, this guy was a regular guy who got the Santa job from someone else. So there's sort of like, I get that he's been Santa for a long time, but there's also like, you also kind of know how a society works. And
like, you can't just say
use your old name.
So like, do you think Joe Carruthers like is the one who had to hand it over to this asshole Tim Allen?
Oh, you mean Joe Carruthers died falling off Tim Allen's roof?
Yes, true. I forgot about that part.
No, I like that. Yeah,
the Santa Claus is a direct sequel to Saves Christmas.
Yeah,
it's a weird clause. Either you give it away to somebody who's really deserving of it, or you fucking die, and the next guy who sees it,
dead body. So yeah, you're right. We do catch up with Ernest and Harmony at Vern's house.
Oh wait, but we do before that we do find out that the agent calls the police.
Yes,
to take away Santa or Mr. Santos.
That's right. So we cut to Vern's house, and this is where we cut to a first-person shot, which was the way that the commercials were shot. So it's kind of this first-person, kind of fisheye shot, where you're looking at Ernest, and he barges into this house and he's like, I got a tree for you. This is great. We're going to like decorate, plug it in. And he's like coming in and he's making a mess. He's like hitting things with the tree. He's trying to plug something in and he's like, oh, this isn't going to reach. He starts like pulling a cord out of the wall.
It's very much like in Christmas Vacation when like the family shows up. It's a very similar scene.
It does.
It's a nightmare. It is so busy.
Yeah, he's like tearing up the drywall and all this kind of stuff. And he's like, don't worry, Vern, I'll make it fit. And he's like bending this tree against like a 7-foot ceiling. It's pretty funny. It's a good scene because it's all Jim Varney. I imagine this scene as written is just Ernest tries to put up the tree.
Yeah.
And then like he just kind of goes for it. He like picks up a whole punch bowl and just drinks it. The tree falls on him. It's pretty funny.
What's funny is we also watched this on like I think Amazon Prime, which is like we're getting like an HD version of this, and I forgot they clearly filmed this in a warm climate because everyone is so sweaty in this movie.
Yeah,
like you don't really get that the way it used to be in like 70s and 80s movies. Yeah. Like people are so sweaty
before they invented powder makeup.
Yeah. Just to picture everyone just covered in sweat the whole time.
Yeah.
It kind of gives it like a gritty like feeling to it that's kind of interesting.
Speaking of gritty feeling, there's Santa sitting in the back of a fucking cop car. Yeah, there's an image.
Oh, yeah.
So we cut back to Vern's place, and Ernest is trying to make the plug in the wall stretch to the tree, and he's yanking on it, and it's like ripping the cord like out of the drywall, like it's like out of the wall. It's kind of going like, which is it's very.
But there's
funny.
The best scene ever where he's doing that, and then it cuts through a piece of artwork.
Yeah, another time you cut back, there's a piece of art that is in half because the rip line has gone through it, but both halves are still mounted on the wall, which is, I think, maybe the funniest joke in this movie.
It's an incredible joke. It's really, really good.
Was it framed or no? Just on canvas?
Yeah. It's like the frame is in half. The whole thing. It's pretty funny.
Now this is where they discover Santa's sack.
Right. Yeah. Very funny. Will
they do? But we see.
I literally, it's his sack.
So we see him get his fingerprints taken first, and the cops look at his fingerprints, and there's snowflakes in the
oh my god!
Yeah, yeah. But like these cops don't think anything of it. He's just like, "Hey, Bobby, take a look at this."
That's weird.
I've never seen anything like this before. I don't know why I'm doing a New York accent. They're in Florida.
I swear there's a couple characters who talk like that. But they're in Florida. So that's like the go-to accent.
We also cut to Joe Carruthers is now like he's auditioning essentially for this movie that they want to put him in, and he's sort of just like working with. He's
basically going to replace an actor who I think the agent says got a botched nose job.
Yeah.
So this is like a last minute audition.
It's like another like Christmas themed movie, and so now he's sort of running lines with these kids that are in the movie to see if he's like a good fit to play the character in it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's interesting though is that like he's genuinely enjoying it because he's like getting to like act with kids and stuff, and the agent's just like he's like, I'm gonna make you a star. Like this is it. This is the thing that's gonna do it. And I think at this point Joe thinks it's like, oh, this is gonna be like a sweet Christmas movie. Like I'm acting with kids. Like this is.
But
gonna be
even
really
as
good.
They're talking, Joe is like, I wonder if that old guy ever found his sack. Like he's still like, God, I hope that guy's okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like again, just really reinforcing like slimy agent, really like genuine fellow who might become.
It's a good
Santa.
juxtaposition for sure. And then you just
it's Ernest.
Yes, exactly. But you keep going back to Ernest, and he's just destroying Vern's house.
Yeah, we just watched him drop a chandelier into like a cake on the table. Like Vern is clearly expecting people because there's like food laid out and a punch bowl in that, and Ernest is just like ruined his house.
Does Vern have a voice?
No, because like your Vern is the idea with like the shots and that, and that was sort of the idea of the original commercials. Is you were Vern, and Ernest was always coming over and telling and like barging into your house and telling you about some product you should buy.
Yeah,
it was Coke commercials at one point, right?
Yeah.
Because all the Santa Clauses are like Coke Santa Clauses in the beginning of the movie in those credit sequence.
But yes, at the end of the last time we cut back to Vern's house, Ernest goes out to the truck to find more tools, and he sees the bag and he looks inside. It's just like a glowing light, like Pulp Fiction. Like,
And then,
just funny. So now he suddenly realizes it's Santa Claus. Like,
Do you know what they call a quarter pounder in Paris, Fern? They call it a royale with cheese.
Nice.
That was good.
That's good.
I'm happy with that.
What do they call a Big Mac?
I actually don't remember.
It's a
little Big Mac.
Yeah.
Wait,
they turn the camera on Vern. He's just wearing a gimp suit.
Hang on, Alenka, you've seen Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, I watched it this week. Again, I watched it again this week. I've seen it before.
Wow.
I was going to say, you're not allowed to do that, Alenka.
Yeah.
I know. I have to rewatch movies. I know. So I just have to make sure it's a movie I have seen. Or it's going to be, or like a genuine
or
flop.
that it's, I've just seen that.
I just seen that.
So
one day
we cut back to those guys in the warehouse.
Yeah.
We had seen them once very briefly and like a hoof punched through one of the crates.
Yeah.
And when we cut back, there's just reindeer out loose in the warehouse. And these guys are so stupid. They're just like, the one guy's like, I think they're Latvian goats, which like, I'm not even sure is a distinction of goat. He's just making stuff up to sound smart. And as he's trying to determine what they are, one reindeer just fully goes like whoop and just flips upside down and goes up on the ceiling. Doesn't like fly around the room, just like anti-gravs and like, latches to the ceiling.
One of the things I love about this movie is the special effects, and the sounds all sound very much like 70s kids television shows.
Yeah.
It's very like whoop.
You know, and they're making these things on a budget. You don't really see the reindeer do the motion. You see like a hoof come off the ground. You see the guy's face. You hear a sound and you hear a clump. And then they've just turned the camera upside down to film a reindeer from a weird angle. And so it looks like it's walking on the ceiling. That's like the movie magic side of these Ernest movies is they actually do a lot with very, very little. But it is funny to watch a movie that doesn't show you everything, because like nowadays most movies that get like a theatrical release will show you most things. There's not too many that like will skimp on that because the nature of the industry is so different. So it's kind of funny to watch a movie that was like in theaters that people went and bought tickets to see that was like, we do not have the money for that.
So now we get the Ernest is now going through the Santa's sack.
Yeah. He's pulling out these like glowing orbs. Like the sack isn't just full of toys. He's pulling out glowing orbs, and then like it sort of registers like psychically, I guess, like what you want, and it turns it into a thing. Because he keeps trying to make a gift for Harmony, but it keeps making these ugly lawn ornaments that Ernest would like.
It's almost like Santa's like a Green Lantern.
I don't get it.
Holy shit. God.
I don't understand.
Now we're into this movie.
What does that mean?
Don't worry about it.
Fine.
Well, yeah.
You haven't seen it.
Yeah, we'll have you guys on our show.
Yeah, would you? God, rude. I've only been on ours twice.
To be honest, it's my first time, so it's my first time.
You guys count as one unit?
We'll go slow.
Oh. I mean, together we're barely one unit.
There's something so sad. There's something so sad about seeing Santa get booked.
I know.
Like
it's at the end of the day, it's just an old man getting booked, which is sad enough.
Because even if you like, take everything at face
put in
value,
jail,
the cops are processing him, and he's like the name is Santa Claus. But then when you think about like if he wasn't Santa, you're like, this is even sadder.
I know.
Defund the police. This man doesn't need to be in a cop station.
Yeah, that's right. It's part of the problem.
What if he was masturbating in public, though?
I think Ernest Saves Christmas.
That's illegal?
Oh, no. Ernest Saves Christmas is a firmly defund the police sort of movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Because they fully flaunt the law in this movie.
Very much so.
Yeah. Santa gets put in this cell. That's basically like Gen Pop. There's like 13 guys in this cell, and they're all like tatted, and they're like they're smoking inside in the cell, which I'm pretty sure you couldn't do.
But also, it looks like some of them are like living there. Like there's all of their like stuff is hanging
like
on the walls,
trophies on a mantle.
Yeah. It's like, I'm like, isn't this like the first step before you get to actual jail? Like you don't just stay in jail.
Cut to Ernest's house,
which is a very nice house.
It's a nice house covered in ugly shit.
Yeah,
so many lawn ornaments, so much Christmas decorations, all sorts of kitschy shit. But it just kind of shows like Ernest's like childlike nature and that he's just like a fan of stuff that he doesn't know how to let go.
I mean, here's the thing. This is the thing that we're sort of dancing around this whole movie, which is like we're joking about a guy who clearly has like a mental deficiency. He's differently able for sure.
I don't think that's actually true.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because he's never incapable of communication. He's very verbose. He's quite intelligent. He just always makes like the more innocent choice.
They literally say he's kind of Santa says he's stupid at one point in this movie.
Yeah, but he's not that bright. I think he saw it.
Okay, that's a nicer way of saying that.
I think he just always chooses the more innocent, optimistic, like naive option. I don't know that he's actually incapable.
So what you're saying is this
cynicism. I just think he chooses not to.
So what you're saying is this movie is a representation of like America when it first started, and now it's sort of like culture and media is like having its effect on it. Now that is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Oh, is that what you're saying? Yeah, is what you said. Like you're asking him, but also trying to make him agree with you. I feel like this movie, the later days should have been like more so looking into what his childhood trauma was that led him to live this sort of life.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he is describing that, like one Christmas Eve, he heard something in the heating vent and he spent all night worrying that Santa was going to die in the heating vents of his house.
Oh, no.
Because so the thing we haven't mentioned is we cut to Ernest's house and Harmony has slept there on the couch overnight, which is like, I don't know, man. Like, innocent or not, that's not cool. You can't do that, Ernest. And they're having this conversation over pancakes, and Ernest is saying, "Of course, I believe in Santa." Blah blah blah. And this kid, Harmony, is like, "You're an idiot. Life sucks. I'm a kid with a side pony. I know."
There's also a very funny scene where Ernest just like is making pancakes and accidentally just like puts his hand down on the actual like pan, like the hot sort of like. Oh yeah, and then he's like burned his hand, so he starts taking the pancake batter and like spreading it all over his hands, like to cool it down.
I thought it was the butter. I thought he was putting butter on.
Yeah, it was like cooling it. Yeah.
Why not water? Why does he go for the batter and the butter?
Santa says he's an idiot. That's why.
It's more fun.
He's also been flipping pancakes the whole time, and then right, he's ready to serve the pancakes. They land on the plate.
Yeah, they've been like
he's very talented. Yeah,
sure. Very cartoonish.
We cut back to the jail, and Santa has gotten all of these inmates, one of whom is wearing a shower cap for some reason, to be singing the 12 Days of Christmas, and they're all singing, they're counting down, and then he sticks his hand out the cell, and from like down the hall, some distant prisoner you don't see
has like a beautiful voice.
Tree. And then everyone starts clapping.
It's a great moment.
It is.
It's
a
really
good moment.
So now Ernest is at the jail. Is that where he's at now?
No, he's at the Children's Museum.
The Children's Museum.
Sorry, the jail full of like kids' crafts.
Is that not where? Is that what's at a jail?
Kinda.
Are you saying,
there's similarities.
Jail's a scary place?
I mean, I guess there are kids' crafts at a jail, but they're all like in individual cells as people cry about how they're not watching their kids grow up.
Okay. Or some of them were like, "Thank God I dodged that bullet."
But Ernest is trying to find Santa. He's trying to return the sack.
Yes,
he's trying to return Santa's sack. Santa's sack. Got to say it one more time.
Yeah.
And so he's like,
a very deep sack.
He's like, I'm looking for the old guy that was here yesterday, and the receptionist is like, pretty sure the cops took him.
Yikes.
And outside, Harmony is with the sack, and she opens it up to look inside, and Ernest shows up, and she goes like, I wasn't going to do anything. I wasn't going to steal anything. Nothing. You can't prove anything. She's being very like
weird.
She's shifty.
She is. She's a bit shifty.
She's shifty. She's clearly on her own between the dine and dash thing, the fact that no one cares where she was last night. She's clearly like run away. She's on her own.
Old is
this is one of my favorite. Oh, she's probably
like 15 or 14. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite things is like 80s movies, like jails, when they're trying to show bad people and they're just like punks. Well, it's like just like mohawks and a leather jacket. It's like, I mean, from my experience, those end up being like the nicer people, not like criminals very often.
For no reason whatsoever, there's a detective in the background interviewing twins that are both flirting with him. They're not part of the scene, but they make such a deliberate effort of both like moving their hair at the same time.
Yes. Oh, and this part really makes me uncomfortable. So This is the scene where now Ernest goes to the jail.
This is our first Ernest plays a character thing, which is a feature of Ernest movies. So
a huge thing. Yeah, Ernest is posing as a employee of the governor with Harmony as the governor's niece. The problem with this is that she's playing like...
She's doing like the schoolgirl thing.
It's really uncomfortable.
But she's also 14, 15 as an actress.
I'm just a widow schoolgirl. Like, it's very uncomfortable.
But she's playing like they're both trying to play like you don't want
sexualize fucking schoolgirls. We wouldn't have this problem.
Listen,
I know it's men.
We're bringing it up because the movie is sexualizing her.
It's true.
Which in a movie that otherwise is actually pretty not problematic. It's a movie that is not really racist or homophobic or anything like that. But this is one bit that's kind of like...
It made me real uncomfortable.
Although the few people of color you do see in this movie are majority in that jail.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also a good point, actually. But basically, they're posing, as being there, that he works for the governor, that she is like the governor's daughter. She's doing a project. They're like trying to pull rank with these sheriffs. Like, you need to let us in here, blah, 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 blah. And they're basically like getting into the jail cell, throwing the governor's name around a lot, and then just taking Santa out of jail.
Yeah. That's how it works.
It's a full-on jailbreak.
They said they're going to take him to like an insane asylum or something like that.
Yeah, because he says, my name is Santa Claus. And so they break him out. These sheriffs are like, oh, but you got to sign papers. He's like, no, we don't. I went for the governor. They go like,
yeah, okay.
All right.
All right.
It's one of those plots that can only work, I think, in this era. I think even if you made a comedy now, people would look at this scene and be like, no.
Yeah.
It is a very funny thing because they're clearly believe that he's Santa, but are trying to convince the cops that they don't think he is so that they can get him out. Yeah. But Santa doesn't know that, so he keeps being like, no, I'm fucking Santa. And they're like, you're not, though. You're just a crazy guy. And he's like, no, I am, and you know it. And
because Santa's not in on on what the plot is.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's a good thing that they play it that way rather than him just being like, oh, you're right. Oh, and somehow he just knew.
Yeah. So at any rate, they pull this heist essentially. And they get Santa out of there, and they don't even clear the building when they start like celebrating. They like get out of the building like, we did it. Yeah. It's like, at least get out of eyesight of the building first. That happens again later with another disguise.
Yeah, as long as you leave the door, they're not allowed to bring you to jail. That's the rules.
Can't prosecute.
Yeah, that's the rules. If you get away with a crime, they can't catch you.
Yeah, what, they're supposed to be able to chase you forever?
It's like Grand Theft Auto. At a certain point, they just stop and then you're free from that crime.
Yeah, 20 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Just hide in a bush.
Yeah, I mean, but we cut to them outside, and Ernest already has his like disguised glasses and tie off. He's like as they're leaving the building, he must have been like, well, we did it. We got away with it.
Yeah. As like cops are probably like behind them, like walking out to go to their cars, and like people are coming in and out. Yeah.
And they're like, why is that guy who works for the governor getting in that fucking junky truck?
Yeah. Hey, Bobby, isn't that the perp with the snowflake fingerprints?
Yeah. Again, from New York.
Yeah. So they get out there, and again, we're getting more evidence that this guy's the real deal Santa. Because Harmony is like, he's not Santa, and he starts saying like, you wanted this gift when you were like 5 years old, and blah 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 blah.
Pamela.
And this is also where we learn that that he inherited the Santa mantle. He said he first became Santa in 1889.
Yeah. 151 years. Yeah.
Sorry,
151 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So so he's been Santa for quite some time. Yeah. It wouldn't have been.
It would have been 100 years. He became Santa when he was 50.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Get it right.
But he basically says that Santa magic is recharged when a new person takes over. Yeah. Like it's what helps keep the magic fresh and young is getting someone new in there to take up.
It weakens over time.
Yeah. Take up the mantle of Santa. And he says if he can't get Joe Carruthers to become Santa by like fucking 7 p.m. like in 2 days or tonight or whatever the time frame is, the magic will disappear. You got to be like, Santa, you left this too late.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't think you could do this last year. So they're like, fuck, we got to do something.
There's fucking 11 months that you've got nothing going on. Like,
he's like, no, it must be Christmas Eve at 7 p.m.
Yeah. That's the most relatable thing, though. We all buy our Christmas presents 2 days before.
What do you think I'm doing tomorrow?
Oh God, I just got all of the zest.
The grind. Yeah. Yeah.
I told you needed some zest in your life. Oh God.
See? Bad texture.
Take over.
Oh, this is where we get another Ernest character where he gets to now play. I think this is the character that shows up a lot. Wow, this is really that bad.
I can't stop watching Reid. I'm sorry.
So much. It's so much zest.
It's full on vitamin C.
It's not that bad. I've eaten zest before.
No, it was bad. I had it too prior to us starting. It was bad.
Are you gonna be all right?
Just keep going.
No. I want to focus on this because it's funny and you're in pain.
Why haven't you spat it out yet? Is my question.
I got nothing to put it in. It's not my head.
You have your glass.
No, because then I'll just drink it again.
Oh, you didn't finish it.
Oh, I'm not done.
Oh. Well, don't put it in my glass.
Okay.
Well, I'm down to the cum dregs. So.
Oh God, look how thick it is.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that is.
I openly invite more women to come on to this show.
I mean, not if they've listened to this episode.
I think that's a good idea.
Just in general. So yes, now
so they've got to get to Joe Carruthers.
Yeah.
So we get our second Ernest disguise of the movie.
Yes, he's the aunt.
Yeah.
Now is it Joe Carruthers' aunt or is it the agent's aunt?
The agent's, because it's like breaking into the agency, basically.
Yes.
This is like the old woman character he plays in a bunch of movies.
Yeah. It's like he's dressed as a woman, but also it's almost like he has one of those like collars on after you like snap your neck or something. Like
he's wearing
a neck brace.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got a neck brace and like a walker and goes in and basically is just trying to find out where they are. I need a message. He never calls me. Blah 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 blah. Like doing all.
What I love though about his characters is he doesn't really change his voice all that much for any of them.
Not at all. But then, so once they find it, he finds out where they're shooting this movie, and he gets just outside the building, folds up the walker, walks down the stairs, goes like, "We got it."
That's so silly.
It is. It's very funny.
That's ridiculous. I think, which means that we're about to get another character from Ernest.
Yeah.
My favorite one.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So we see Joe and the agent, and he's in the makeup chair. They're getting ready to make the movie. And Joe's saying like, I don't know that I feel great about this yet. And the agent's like, you feel great. It's going to be fine. Blah, 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 blah. We need this.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, but like, okay. And he's kind of being talked into doing this role.
Yep.
So they drop Harmony and the sack off at Ernest's house, and Ernest and Santa are going to go get Joe.
So
I don't fully know why they don't bring the sack, because that was the piece of proof Santa needed last time.
Right.
They've decided not to bring it.
It had to be in safekeeping though. You can't just drag it around, you know.
So somehow, even though he's got no costume on him, suddenly Ernest is now in another costume, and now he's my favorite one, where he's a snake rancher.
Yeah, he's very like this, like yeehaw, like he's also missing teeth.
Yes,
like, I love the idea that Ernest like goes out behind the truck and just knocks some teeth out. It's for the character.
I'll put these on later.
And so he's they pull up to the studio and he's like, I got a bunch of snakes in the back. Oh, careful, the poison snakes. And it's Santa under a tarp, like moving a hose around, like pretending to be a snake.
This is so cute.
I mentioned this to Richard. There's not like an APB out on Santa. Technically speaking, they got him out of prison legally.
Yeah. Why does he have to hide?
Why is Santa hiding in the fucking truck bed? Like he could just
they need
be
to
in the
sneak in.
So it's a movie set. It's going to be like, we're going to the Santa movie.
It's
we need to bring this Santa Claus to a movie.
This is my assistant snake wrangler.
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
Who's going to play the snakes?
Oh, actually, that's a good point.
Yeah,
so Santa does need to be in the bed.
Yeah.
I know that he's losing his power a little bit, but like he can't do anything magical at this point.
He's so like impotent with magic at this point.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's left it way too late. Like Santa should have been doing this like 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's what depression does to you, though. You just don't do anything.
So on Ernest's pickup trucks, full of snakes. There's a sign that reads Apopka Snakes. Executive producer Joseph Ackerman went to high school in Apopka, Florida, a city north of Orlando. Where
he's reading again. That's cool.
What? No. That was just
what a normal thing to know.
Or something I think I heard once.
Yeah. It was water cooler conversation.
Yeah. It was around the office this afternoon.
So, I mean, they pull into the studio after pulling off this deception, and then, like, just in a street full of people, Santa just gets out of the back of the truck labeled snakes. No one bats an eye.
He also passes some, like, dancers and, like, totally horns himself up.
Yeah, Santa definitely checks out the, like, Rocket looking dance.
Yeah, he does.
And he
like twists his mustache and like raises his eyebrows at them.
And he sees a guy dressed as Santa and kind of like eyes him down. They kind of like walk around each other.
Yeah. Goofy.
But like, I know he's just trying to like act casual. I'm sure that's what that scene was. But yeah, it looks, he's full on just getting a boner.
Santa's like, I'm 4 hours away from retiring. I'm going to get my fucking dick wet.
Yeah.
Gonna get some snow on my hose, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Guess you could say Santa Claus is coming to town.
You can jingle my bells.
Yeah. You guys have any more? No, 2 more from each of you.
Gonna put my candy cane on that
he's
tree.
Gonna find out which of them is naughty and nice.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
No, I said 2 more.
Santa.
He's gonna be fucking around the Christmas tree.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
He's gonna give them a sleigh.
Oh no. Okay, well, speaking of Christmas sleigh, Santa walked into the soundstage where they're filming this movie that Joe is in.
Yeah.
And it's like a nice Christmas scene. The kids go to bed and he lays out the presents and you're like, oh, he's filming a Christmas movie. This is so sweet. And then
as he hears something at the door.
By the way, this is bad acting, but he goes to open the door and then this like creature from the Black Lagoon like breaks in and Joe goes, die, you son of a... And he can't bring himself to say bitch because he's just like dedicated himself to being a children's entertainer and they have to call cut and he ruins the take.
And the Swamp Thing is just like, oh, come on, man. It's like
be a professional. He's like covered in seaweed. Be a professional.
Wow.
And in this scene, Santa is like, what is this? And someone has to tell him like, it's called Christmas Sleigh. And he's like, where's the sleigh? And they're like, no, it's like Christmas Sleigh. It's a horror movie.
Yeah.
It's like SLAY.
Oh, man.
This whole time you've been hearing about this movie Christmas Sleigh, you're like, Joe would be perfect for it, and he'll learn how to be Santa. You realize it's like
I'm so sad.
Little red horror movie.
I don't like it.
No,
but Santa gets fucking pissed.
Yeah,
and he fucking punches the director when he hears about that shit.
Oh,
because Joe
no, Santa.
Because Joe is like, I don't want to say bitch, and the director's like, but you have to say bitch so you can grab the axe and hack him to pieces. They're on such different wavelengths.
I love when Santa punches that guy because it's so like uncharacteristic of him the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean, you almost expect this movie to take a turn like Miracle on 34th Street. We watched the trial of Santa because
I haven't seen that. That's on the list, right?
It is, I believe.
God.
Spoiler alert, Santa fucking assaults a guy in Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not great. Oh yeah, and then we get back to Marty, the sleazebag agent, and Joe is just like, "Look, I can't do this. Like, let me just go talk to this guy first of all, because he's like, he keeps coming around."
Joe
here.
is infinitely kind and patient because he's like, "Let me talk to him, and maybe he'll get it out of his system." Instead of being like, "Wow, the guy showed up at my work and punched the director. That's creepy."
Yeah, it seems like he's now violent and maybe a problem.
Right.
No, but Joe is like seeing the best in people. You would make a great Santa.
Yeah, exactly. But now animal control shows up at the dock where those 2 bumbling idiots were with the reindeer.
The dock?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
It's the airport. There were a fucking shipyard.
They're still dock workers.
At an airport?
Yeah, it's a similar kind of thing.
It's he's describing a type.
Yeah, I'm trying to explain it for someone who hasn't seen it.
Right. And you're painting a clear picture that they're at an airport by using the word docks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking dox you.
No.
This is the doctor's address.
No.
Yeah, so these 2 fucking, I don't know, ship worker guys at an airport.
Stop saying ship. They're just warehouse guys.
Warehouse guys at a random factory in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
are arguing over the shipping papers and the contents of these crates. So as these clearly are containing flying reindeer at this point.
Yeah, because now they're all on the ceiling, and animal control comes in. They see them up at the ceiling, and they go, "This isn't really our kind of job." They just leave.
Yeah. Something else that I think I read on a bubblegum wrapper was that during filming, production ran into trouble when the reindeer began to shed their antlers, so replacement antlers had to be obtained.
Shed their antlers?
Yeah, it's a thing that they do.
Yeah,
How?
Caribou.
Why?
It's like a seasonal thing. They
really
shed their antlers.
Just to drop off.
What purpose?
That's how you like.
I didn't know
makes
this.
them look good.
What?
It's a fashion choice.
Yep, makes them look good.
Yeah, that's it. That's basically it.
Nice. I didn't know
Also,
this.
This soundstage, like we see a quick conversation between Joe and Santa, and Santa's explaining more about that he's really Santa. But in the background, there's like a fucking crab. Someone in a crab costume goes by. There's like whatever this movie is, it's an absolute mess.
Yeah.
So funny.
Cut to Harmony in Ernest's house, taking like the glowing orbs of potential out of the sack and trying to make something specific, and he just keeps making like dolls and trains. And
God, what I wouldn't do to get access to some orbs of potential.
God. I have orbs of potential, but I can't use them anymore because I got a vasectomy.
I think your dad always said you had orbs of potential.
Check out the orbs of potential on that. Yeah. Ernest is still waiting for Santa, and someone comes by and says, like, "You're the snake guy, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." And they just dump a bunch of snakes in his truck.
Actual real snakes.
Actual snakes.
Oh no.
So now Santa's actually getting a chance to try to really explain, being like, look, this is a torch that gets carried on from one person to another, and if it's not passed on, the flame flickers and dies. Like he's so fucking dancing around the fact.
And I know it's fucking last minute, but if you don't make a decision to be Santa for 100 years
in the next
by 7 o'clock tonight, you will personally have killed Christmas.
Yeah,
right.
No pressure.
You're responsible.
Yeah.
Not my poor planning.
I mean, this is a very sad scene because Santa is saying like the magic is fading for me. I used to be able to, I knew what every kid wanted everywhere. And now I'm making notes. Like in a non-Santa movie, he's just describing like dementia, Alzheimer's. This is like a weirdly dark moment in this movie.
Yeah. And then he's just like, are you Santa? Am I Santa?
Oh no.
Where's my home?
That's not true. He doesn't.
Oh no. Okay.
Back to Ernest's, and it's covered in toys and gifts and stuff, but none of it seems to be what Harmony wants.
She's like $1 million she's trying to grab, right?
That's maybe it's cash or like I don't know,
or
like
her parents' love again,
or a gun.
Right. Yeah.
But she picks up like a red blanket, and you sort of like she's going to try and make a fake sack so she could take the real sack so she could have more time to try and get what she wants out of Santa's magic sack.
She's not on the nice list.
No, definitely not.
She's a bad kid.
Yeah.
Naughty.
Yeah.
She's a naughty schoolgirl.
Nope. No.
Yeah, fuck you guys.
I'm uncomfortable. So then we go back to Ernest and he's getting rid of the snake. Yeah. He's getting rid of snakes at the side of the road with
just
Santa.
Throwing them overhead. A bunch of them bitten him on the face, which is very funny.
Just like snakes attached to his face, like tiny little snakes.
Yeah, he like turns around to talk and they're just like hanging off his face by their fangs. It's very funny.
It is a good
yeah.
And then, so Santa goes to Joe's house, right?
Well, they have to come back to the house to grab the sack.
Yes.
Harmony is trying to hide all the fucking gifts that she made while she was trying to get whatever, like bunch of traveler's checks or bearer bonds or whatever she was trying to make. And they come to grab the sack, and she hands them a sack, and there's kind of like a look, like Santa kind of gives a look, and then Ernest and Santa leave with the sack to go meet up with
Santa's like, you wouldn't be fucking lying to me, would you?
Well, I don't think he really says anything though, but like that's what the look is. The look is definitely like something off with this sack?
Did you fuck with my sack? Is that what you're trying to say?
No, he knows.
But again,
I mean, the reveal ultimately is, you're right, Alenka. He does know.
Yeah.
It comes out in a later scene that he knows the whole time, but they do end up getting the fake sack.
But like in this like last minute, Santa needs to fucking leave at 7:00. Is he really being like, but I'm going to teach this girl a lesson?
He's still Santa. He can't help it.
I mean, that's just it.
I'm gonna put my faith in this girl to come back later.
I mean, that's the ultimate Santa thing. He is willing to destroy Christmas for all future generations in order to prove that one bratty 15-year-old is redeemable.
That is not utilitarianism at all.
Yeah, it's no, it's not. So at any rate, they drive off with the fake sack and leave Harmony at Ernest's house again.
Yeah.
If I was Ernest's neighbors, I would be so concerned.
Yeah.
This young girl.
Well, the Jeffrey Epstein's neighbors took a while to be very concerned.
No.
So
Right.
I mean, he had an island, so
Ernest goes on vacation, but he accidentally ends up on Epstein's island.
Oh my God, that's the movie that didn't come
through
out.
A series of misadventures, he like unravels the the whole pedophile ring.
Oh my God,
that would have made him the hero of our generation.
That would have been incredible. I mean, and who better?
He's like, Mr. Epstein, I believe you've been falsely accused. Here, I'm going to lower a rope to help get you out of this prison cell. And he kind of fucks it up, and then the cops come in, and they're like, oh man, like all the cameras went out, and he was like, that was me trying to rip all the cords out of the walls. Ernest killed Epstein.
That's the sequel to Ernest Goes to Jail?
No.
And then as soon as that scene is done, he's like, oops, and he like runs away. And like an actual assassin comes in, and he's like, oh shit, my work's already done.
Bingo, bingo.
Oh,
but I mean,
God.
Epstein killed himself, right? So it's fine.
That was like 2 years ago, guys. Let's come on.
Wasn't that this year?
No.
Oh no, it was last year.
Right. Last year.
Yeah.
Wow.
See?
Let's go back to our 9/11 jokes. That'll be more topical.
Yeah.
So,
current.
Ernest and WMD Iraq. That's the next movie.
Ernest flies a plane. Is that the?
Oh no. Ernest goes to war.
Oh no.
There is that, isn't there?
Guys,
Ernest joins the army.
Yeah,
while
right,
you
riff
one. For another like 10 minutes, I'm gonna grab more juice.
So Ernest drops Santa off and says, I got to get going, because Ernest is going to go pick up the reindeer. He's like going to meet. Santa says the elves are coming. Ernest says, I'll go meet them. We'll pick up the reindeer and your sleigh, and then we'll meet you at the Children's Museum for 7, which again, that's kind of when you need to leave.
Yeah.
Should be there earlier.
Yeah.
And Santa takes the fake sack and he goes to Joe's house, and he comes inside and he's like, this is great. I'm going to hand it off. We're going to have this final conversation. I got a couple of hours to spare. I'm a great Santa. And Joe comes out of the bathroom. And he shaved his beard, and Santa couldn't be more offended.
Oh,
he's like, he's like, what have you done? No, not like this. It's like,
really?
And
That's
Joe
so
is
silly.
Joe is like, why are you at my house? Also, like, listen, I got to take this gig. I'm an actor. Blah 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 blah. And Joe is like, I really want to believe you. I desperately want to believe you, but I can't. I don't know how to deal with something like this. You can tell he's sort of saying like, I don't know how to deal with someone that's lost their mind.
Yeah.
He's like,
look, I had a grandparent like this once. I just can't do this all over again.
And Santa's saying, you're the only one. You have an understanding of children. You're a kind soul. Mm-hmm. You're the perfect Santa. And then he goes, Joe is like, what's this supposed to be? Is this your magic sack?
It's just feathers.
It's just feathers. And then Santa says, yeah, I know the real sack was taken, but I'm pretty sure it will be returned. Which again, the fact that the conversation fell apart the first time he couldn't produce the magic sack, Will was right. Like, why would he risk it? Like,
right.
Because of the magic of Christmas. Reid.
It's a little late for that. If he cared about the magic of Christmas, he would not have left this to the last.
I guess he's got faith in the girl, and he's got faith in Joe. It's his faith in Jesus then means
that's what it is there. That's what it comes down to.
Wouldn't that be amazing if the third act was Santa is like, I have one last card to play
on your left,
on your left, and a fucking wreath opens up behind him, and Jesus walks through.
Oh my god! And just an army and elves.
Christ Vengers.
Yeah, those Easter bunnies here.
Christ Vengers. Amen. And then they all charge it.
Who are they battling? The sleazy agent? Is that Thanos?
Yeah. They raise Hollywood to the ground. Godless heathen actors. So we cut to Harmony.
Yes, she's running away
taking
with
the real sack, and she's gone to like the train station, and she like just takes a bunch of change from her pocket and goes, "Where could this get me?"
Yeah. You know, like the way that places have exact amounts of money towards wherever you go.
Well, it costs $6.13 to go to Omaha.
Yeah.
But at any rate, the guy's like, well, there's a train that leaves it's going somewhere. It's going to Fort Lauderdale or something. Yeah. It leaves at 6, and she goes, don't you have anything sooner? And he's like, not for that amount of money. So she just has to sit and wait. And so, of course, she has to sit and like stew with the thought that she's stolen fucking Santa's magic sack.
Like the worst crime of all.
There's like a family there, and there's like a kid that's like teasing his baby sister, being like, you don't still believe in Santa? And she's like, yeah, I do. I believe in Santa. And Harmony, you can tell Harmony's already like, oh God, I regret this.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
So now Santa's basically without his magic sack. Joe doesn't believe him. He's lost his magic. He doesn't have Ernest. So he's just alone. And he's like, I guess I fucking get on a bus. I don't know. So he just goes sits on a bench next to some other old dude. And they're just being old guys together.
Yeah. He says, you look like something's awfully wrong. And Santa says, I misjudged somebody. That's all. And this is like the first moment where like there's a crack in Santa's like optimistic facade. And he's like, I might have fucked up Christmas.
Yeah.
But we missed the part where he's like, Ernest, you gotta go and get my reindeer.
Yes.
No.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry. Do you remember this movie better than us, Alenka?
I thought you guys already talked about that.
We did talk about it.
Did we?
Did. Listen to Alenka. She's the only one paying attention.
Sorry.
You guys are so
I forgot
every new bit. Yeah, you aren't even paying attention to what you already said.
We were too busy trying to figure out how Santa was going to go back in time to get all the infinity reindeer and get like.
Yeah, if she ever sees this movie, her vision of what it is and what it becomes.
So we cut to the airport, and we see elves get off a plane, and this is a classic Hollywood hiring, little people sort of scenario.
Right.
They give them the pointy elf ears and everything, but they're in like Sam Spade, like trench coat and fedoras, like so they kind of look like Spy versus Spy a little bit.
Right.
And they do the same bit with the passports. They say, what did they like? I forget their names. Papa Elf? No.
Or their names
That's
are
the
like
Smurfs, I think.
Holly and Jolly or something like that. Ernest shows up to pick up the reindeer at the warehouse, and the guy's like, are you elms? And Ernest is like, no, I'm Ernest. And but Ernest and the elves basically both go to pick up the reindeer. He's like loaded. He's rented like a rental cube van. Like
nice.
Christmas Eve.
It's not a U-Haul, but yeah,
yeah.
That's the other thing. So many people are working on Christmas Eve, and I know that that's a reality, but it's super depressing to have it pointed out.
Yeah. Exactly. I just love he's like, well, we're giving these to some helper elms. So that's not you.
If
buddy.
your name ain't Helper Elms, then you're out of here.
He's also like, I got a lot of questions for these helper elms.
Now, these guys definitely have New York accents. That wasn't just you doing a New York accent.
No, the elves. Oh, right. Sorry. One elf's name, I just caught it, is Verdant Forest.
Oh, my God.
I don't get it.
It means like green forest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is just like, I don't know, just like a thing. It's not even that Christmassy.
No.
But they get through like customs as well. With the same guy, and they also call him Skippy, and he's like, what? But again, he's just like, yeah, fine, stamp, you can come through, that's fine.
You're not terrorists.
Yeah, someone clearly doxed me somewhere. Yeah.
The warehouse guy is like, you got ID, and the elves take off their hats and they show their pointy ears, and he's like, okay, that'll do. And they load up the reindeer and the sleigh into the fucking rental cube van. and they're off. But Ernest does his big like, now is the time for us not to miss our rendezvous with destiny. He's like got this big kind of like moment
as he like then tries to open up a door and slams his head off of it by accident getting into the car.
It's such like a weird mix of like slapstick and also like they really need to get a move up.
Yeah.
Like, it's like actual stakes.
Like they're just like, Ernest, fucking enough. Like
they're like, hey, should you be like driving through this closed gate? And he's like, I thought of everything. And he has a remote somehow that opens the gate. They never explain how Ernest gets his hands on a remote that activates security features of an airport.
Yeah, that's true.
I want to see that scene where he gets that somehow.
But he tries to drive. He tries to drive through, and he drives over the tire spikes.
Yeah,
Yep.
And so now they're just like dead in the water. They haven't even left the airport.
No.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they're completely fucked.
Cut to Santa, sad Charlie Brown walking outside the children's museum.
Basically.
yeah, like it's the George Michael thing.
And looking at his pocket watch, realizing what time it is.
He's like, I really should have done this last year.
Yeah, God.
Yeah, like he should have did like last year, did a test run. Like they both flew as Santa. He's teaching him.
Yeah.
You know,
you would think there must be an overlap period, right? Like,
No.
Yeah.
Unless this is like one of those like symbiote things where like
I mean, it is kind of that, and we do get a little bit of that at the end, but.
Yeah, like a 3-month training period where he can fire that Santa without any reason.
Probation before the benefits kick in.
No, because it's magic that he finds the right person, and it's that right person at that right time. It's all about timing.
But what's the benefits? Like Elf Bukkake?
Well, here's the thing that we're also not talking about is like, what's the retirement plan? Like, does he just...
None of us are talking about the retirement plan.
Well, we will when we get there in the movie,
because they don't really address it. He's just kind of like without a job.
He
kind of talks about
Does he die?
I mean, like
at 150, does he turn back into human?
Right.
Or does he just go back?
We'll get there.
Because I don't think we really get an answer. But
we cut back to...
trust that we'll get there. I'm just waiting for us to get.
God, you sound like my wife.
Oh, jeez. We cut back to Ernest, and he's like, "Man, I popped the tires. I've ruined Christmas. I fucked up." And the elves are like, yeah, you did. And he's like, if only there were another vehicle and means of conveyance. And then he's like, oh yeah, there's a reindeer and a sled in the back of the truck. So Ernest and the elves have to hitch up the sled, and Ernest is going to drive the sled.
And they're like, fuck, this is a bad idea. That's the elves the whole time.
We see, we're kind of intercutting, but we see Joe and his agent, and they're about to sign so that he could be an actor in this movie. And Joe's like, before I sign, like, I have a couple of issues with the script. And the guy's like, what position do you think you're in here?
Yeah, you're
like,
just a fucking actor we found who like has a failing kids show. Like,
yeah, you don't get to make demands.
Yeah.
And, you know, because Joe is still, he's having these misgivings. He's like, yeah, like maybe it would be good for his career, but he's like, but it's not who I am. Yeah. I don't want to say son of a bitch and then hack something.
Also, how is it they were doing like a take already and he hadn't already signed for the movie?
I think maybe it was meant to be like test footage, but it's
like a
not,
screen test.
That's not how you do a screen test. Like that was on set. Like,
yeah,
it was.
He cost them money for fucking that take up.
It's a very good point, Alenka. I don't have an answer.
So now Ernest is in the sleigh. He's got the reindeer, and he's like, "All right, now we're going to fly these things."
He does the very cliche joke of like, put your tray tables in their upright and locked positions.
Yes. And he's like, I know all of the reindeer's names.
Yeah, he says giddy up, and the reindeer won't move. And the elves are like, you moron, name them. And they have to go like Dasher, Dancer.
But he also doesn't know them because he was like...
No, he messes one up or two up. but you see like the sleigh like rev every time they say a name. It's like Dasher. It's like
that's cute.
It's juicing up on Christmas magic. It actually is pretty cute. Yeah, he forgets a name and the juice goes down and then they all have to yell it but then they take off basically like a shot and he's flying this sled and we get all these close-up images and again the rubber face thing of him being like like trying to fly this sleigh. They just narrowly miss an
actual airplane.
Yeah. Airplane is landing and they somehow managed not to crash. It's very clearly green screen, but I actually don't think these are bad effects.
Considering this movie and what we've seen so far, it's not that bad.
It's a low budget movie. It's kind of fun, but he's like doing loop-de-loops and flying all around the city. And when you cut back to Joe, where he's about to sign, he kind of like, he looks out the window because he's like, oh God, do I sign this movie? And he sees the sleigh going fucking haywire outside. And he's like, holy shit, the guy was Santa.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Joe has that moment and he's like, never mind, I don't need your stinking movie.
Yeah.
Basically.
Say if Santa's real, but what else is real? I can't do this.
That's where they should have had their F-bomb where it's like, I don't need your fucking movie. And then
that would have been a good one. It's the one time he swears. The whole time he's been so against swearing. That's the one time.
Or he finally suits up.
He's very passionate.
Again, a lot of intercutting here. So Ernest is like the thing's out of control. He tries to pull like the big like train conductor brake on the sleigh, and it breaks off. And he's like, "Oh no!" And then we cut to Santa sitting on the bench, and like the older woman that's the receptionist at the Children's Museum is sitting with him, and they're kind of flirting a little bit. She goes, "Did you ever find your sack?"
She's like, "I can find it for you."
And Santa is saying, like, I really think I might have misjudged this girl. She used to be so sweet. I wonder what happened to her. Which is like, that's a lapse in magic. He should know.
Yeah. He's getting forgetful, though.
He's basically just like, I regret every decision I've made for the past day.
Well, yeah, I think as the magic fades, like the reality of the situation seeps in for him. And he's like, oh, no.
This was a mistake.
This was a bad idea. Yeah. Okay. So we've got the movie playing in the background. Joe has just seen the sleigh go crazy. But when we cut back to Ernest, I think they realize that time is running out. And Ernest sees some sort of like turbo lever. And the elves are like, do not touch the turbo lever. You
can't even fly it regular.
And he touches it. And they start like whipping around the earth like Superman at the end of the movie. Like almost was waiting for the earth to start turning backwards, like in Superman.
I mean, that would have been incredible if it turned back time.
But there's like people in like military like radar control, and they're like, we have no idea what this is. Scramble the fighters. There's like people going to like fighter jets. It's like all these like Top Guns start taking off because there's. The elves say bogey at 9:00. Like they're chasing Santa's sleigh.
Man.
Yeah, Ernest goes into turbo mode. And when he finally gets them out of turbo mode, they're in like fucking like high orbit. They're in space. They're fully in space. Another John Wayne moment here. He says, hang on to your lederhosen, little elves, or whatever he says.
Not the time. It's not the time.
This is a good one too. So they're still going crazy, and Ernest then it comes upon like a toll booth.
Oh yeah, he flies through like a highway toll booth. Yeah,
and actually like goes through proper. I don't know if he actually pays.
I think he does. I think you see something magically happen there.
So good.
But the weird thing about that moment is Ernest says, I think it's Ernest that says, if we fly low, they'll lose us on radar. It's like, why does Ernest know that?
Yeah. He hasn't been in the army yet.
He hasn't been in the army yet. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my, so good.
So then we do cut back to Santa, and guess who shows up?
Well, okay. Just before that, we see Harmony at the train station still, and that like the older kid is still picking on the younger kid. And now Harmony's like the kid that's like being like Santa doesn't exist is like 9.
Yeah.
And Harmony goes up and goes, listen to me, you little shit weasel. She's like, he sure does exist. This is his magic sack. And you can tell she's come around. She's going to go try and meet Santa. Ernest is in turbo mode and whatnot. They're trying to meet Santa. Joe has seen the thing outside. At night. Yeah, he's going to try and meet Santa. You see all the pieces moving. Yeah, there's like 10 minutes left. We are running out of time.
Stress.
There's a real ticking clock thing here.
I know.
Joe is out of work and drives a pretty slick convertible.
Yeah, and he's racing now too because he suddenly
But he still stops at the red light.
Yeah, because
he's a good guy and nothing is important enough.
Well, he's got all those residuals from his children's show.
So. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Santa's trying to get his dick wet with that old lady from the museum.
Says the receptionist says, "I haven't believed in Santa," and he goes, "January 17th, 1931," and she's like, "What?" Like there's some. I arguably some pretty good chemistry between them.
Oh yeah. I've watched that.
Harmony runs around the corner. She's got the sack. Santa's like, "I knew I was right about you. Little fucking late though."
They're really pushing Santa's patience here.
Yeah. It's a nice moment though. Harmony is clearly a kid who's had a tough time, but we haven't talked much about it. But she does say earlier that she had run away from home.
You can tell because she has all those jelly bracelets.
She hasn't called her mom or anything. Santa forgives her and gives her. Her name's Pamela. Why are we calling her Harmony?
Because Harmony was her fake name, Harmony Star.
Oh,
Pamela's her real name.
Right. Mm-hmm. Thank you. He goes, "I never doubted you'd do the right thing," conveniently leaving out that he did in fact doubt that she'd do the right thing. And then he's like, "Well, it's great that you brought the sack. I'm very proud of you. I'm glad I was right about you, but we're missing a lot of pieces here."
Yeah.
And then Joe pulls up and he goes, "So holy shit, you're Santa, huh? Like this is a real thing." And he's like, "Yeah." And they got the sack and all of this thing. And Santa basically says, like, "If you're ready for this, like, time is running out, but like, you would be a great Santa." I think what Joe says, he goes, "Is that job still open?" He's like, "Because I just pissed off a bunch of studio execs, so I really need this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he does that, and they like handshake, and all the magic of Santa goes into Joe, and he magically ends up in the costume. He gets the full white beard. He gets the hat. He is Santa, and he goes like, "Holy cow," or whatever. And Santa says something and goes, like, "You're going to have all my Santa knowledge now." And Joe goes, "I do. Like, I know what people want. I know where they are, blah, blah, blah." And it's like, it's kind of a cool moment. Then he also goes, "How am I supposed to do this again? Still no sled."
Yes.
And that's when like at like 6:50 Ernest screeches up. And the one thing I forgot to mention about the turbo speed on the sleigh is they do the Star Wars hyperspeed effect, the light speed effect. When he goes into it, it's like where it like rotates and all of the stars like drag out like long exposure.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
So there's a little like Star Wars kind of thing in there, which is cute.
I do really like that.
Yeah. Ernest screeches up. It's one of those things in a movie where it's like there's 1 minute left, but they take like 6 minutes to be like, "I guess this is goodbye.
Yeah.
I can't thank you," and like all that kind of shit that happens.
But
right?
technically they've already passed on the magic, Wasn't that the part that was time sensitive?
Maybe that's you might be right that maybe that's the bit that was time sensitive. I also sort of just assumed that like if you don't leave by 7, you're never going to get through all those houses in a night. I mean, there's a limit to magic.
Like one kid's going to see you, you're going to have to break his neck and take him with you.
Yeah.
Remember, Joe, no witnesses.
Right.
If there's anything Santa's ever learned.
So funny. So Joe is about to take off and he goes like, "I don't know how to fly this thing," and he goes like, "Oh yes I do." And then you see like Ernest is kind of sad, and Harmony's sort of like kind of sad, and basically the previous Santa says it's Joe. Joe says, "Is there any rule that I can't have a helper?"
Yes.
Or can't have a driver?
Yes.
And Santa goes, "No, not at all." Like,
and the elves are like, "Don't you fucking dare."
And Ernest, again, because like we've seen him with the cab, we've seen him with the sleigh already. But Ernest is like, "I'll drive you, sir, through the starry night sky."
Yeah.
Like, whatever he goes.
Nor sleet, nor rain.
Yeah, he does. He kind of has a speech like that. And then he also says, "Maybe I can have a helper elf too." And the elves are like, but but he invites Harmony onto the sleigh too. So they all pile onto the sleigh, and Joe becomes Santa, and they take off, and it's like ho ho ho, Merry Christmas. It's a really kind of beautiful, lovely ending. And then
we go to the two fucking.
Oh, right. So
we missed a part though.
We did miss it. That's right. So before the sleigh shows up, they think it's not going to show up.
Oh yeah,
right.
And Joe wants to test like the extent of his Santa magic, and Santa's like, "You can perform miracles," and he's like,
"I'm a god,"
and he like closes his eyes and he makes it snow in Orlando. The Orlando Snow, the namesake of the drink.
Right,
and we cut to that guy from the start of the movie that got off the plane with Santa, and he looks at the window and he goes, "Well, hot damn it! Oh, White Christmas. Was that guy fucking Santa?"
That's pretty funny.
He's also like, you know what? Everybody can go home for the weekend.
Yeah, because he's in the middle of saying like, "We're gonna stay here all night if it means getting that deal done." And as soon as he sees the snow, he has the Scrooge moment, and he's like, "It's Christmas Eve. We'll do the deal later." And I like to imagine that they don't get the deal done, and his company goes under.
He puts his head out the window and he's like, "You homeless man, go get the largest Christmas goose."
Yeah,
he might as well. It's really that kind of moment. But yeah, so catch up to where we were. Joe takes off as Santa. Ernest is his driver. Harmony's there as the helper elf. They've got the sack. Christmas has been saved. They fly off, and it's very cute. And the original Santa turns to the receptionist, goes like, "I used to have a real name. I forget what his name is."
Seth Applegate.
Oh yeah, Seth. Not what I would have expected.
The worst name. Yeah,
Seth Goldenberg.
But basically, she goes like, "Do you have any Christmas plans?" And he goes, "I got all the time in the world, sweetheart." He doesn't say that, but that's
he slaps her on the ass a little bit.
But no, they do the nice like old person arm link thing, and they walk off in the snow. It's actually very cute.
And then he drops dead 5 minutes later because he's 150.
So he just turns into dust.
But what this means though is that he passes over the Santa thing. He doesn't rapidly age like fucking Black Adam or something like that. Like he just gets to like pick up his life from old man age.
Yeah, he just looks at the lady and he's like, "I hope you've got enough pension for two."
Well, I mean, this is the thing. He has no social security.
No.
He has no employment history for 80 years.
He has fake money in his pocket.
He has no money in his pocket. He literally needs a sugar mama.
He's homeless.
Yeah. But it's
I'm sure the receptionist at the Children's Museum makes enough for two.
Oh yeah.
Well, what you don't learn in this movie is that she's got like 4 mysteriously dead ex-husbands with sizable insurance policies on each.
So she's fine.
But we do go back we go back to those
another John Wayne I forgot about is at the end. Ernest turns to Harmony and goes, "Now you just keep your nose clean, little lady," which I don't think is a cocaine reference, but could be.
Oh, maybe it could be. We go back to those two cargo worker guys, and they're receiving a large crate with shipping papers marked E Bunny, and start arguing over the name and spelling with the 2 large rabbit ears suddenly burst through the top of the crate just before the film credits begin to roll.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it. That's Ernest Saves Christmas.
Yeah. The only Ernest film to not have a villain.
Right.
Wow.
The villain is time and poor planning.
Yeah.
And poor planning.
And dementia.
Yeah. Old
and possibly
age.
Santa?
Yeah. Santa's kind of the bad guy in this.
You said that this is also the only Ernest movie that does that fisheye Vern thing.
Yeah.
Which I didn't think was true because I thought that was the whole.
They always did
that. That was a staple. I don't even know. Like, I haven't seen any of the Ernest ones, but I know that I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, like that was definitely a staple of the commercials. That was the setup, and it's definitely in this movie. And yeah, Will, I mean, I had the same memory where I was like, "That's in every movie, isn't it?" But I think Richard found like a piece of trivia and said, like, "Nope, just this one."
But it seems
like
he
knew it. He already knew it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, he's not reading it.
He heard it around.
Yeah, it's the only one where
water something.
I just got a text message that said that it's the only Ernest movie where Vern appears.
Oh, but he doesn't. You're Vern.
I know, but they refer to Vern, and Vern is there.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he does mention Vern.
Yeah, he always says it's kind of like his consciousness is always like, "Hey, Vern, yeah, I know Vern," and it's like, well, nobody's there.
But this is the only shows up at actual Vern's house.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what.
So
it is.
there you go. That's Ernest Saves Christmas.
Mm-hmm. When Jim Varney was asked why this movie was received a PG rating, he replied, "Unusual cruelty to reindeer."
Oh, so this is PG.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, wow.
Unusual
This is also the first movie
cruelty.
filmed at. It's the first movie filmed at Disney MGM Studios, now named Disney Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, you know what?
This
you
was
want to
the
just
first
read off
movie
all the
filmed there?
facts you didn't get a chance to squeeze in? Want to just
don't say that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I would love that. Despite his persona as Ernest P. Worrell, Jim Varney reportedly have a near genius IQ level.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm already bored
This
of
is when
these.
an immovable object meets an unstoppable force.
What's that from?
The domestic total for this movie was
What's that from?
$28,202,109.
Sorry, you're saying this made $28 million domestically?
Yeah, and the budget was only $6 million.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, they made like 9 of these movies. They were profitable. Like,
Yeah.
Had to have been.
Alenka.
Talk to me.
That's all I got.
Okay, how many naughty schoolgirls do you give Ernest Saves Christmas?
Oh,
I mean,
I give
I
one
wouldn't give
on
him
Reid's
that.
I'm
lap
over 18, as long as it's
and
over 18.
one on
Don't put one on
Richard's
my
lap.
Don't put one on our lap.
And they're
No,
dancing
no.
to Tiny Dancer, squishing around
no.
on both laps.
Oh.
Everything
And
about
yes,
that disgusted
their
me.
button-ups are tied up like Britney Spears.
No.
Oh, no.
That's right, bitches.
Oh,
That's what
baby,
I give
how was
this
I supposed to
fucking
know?
rating.
Okay, but honestly, Alenka, do you think that this is a movie you will check out? Last time I was on, you said you never check out the movies people tell you.
Yeah, no, I know.
That it
No,
had never
actually,
happened.
probably since then, I have watched. I watched Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas because it really
That's basically Casablanca.
confused me. Yeah.
Sure. Did you watch
And-
Casablanca?
Oh, no, but I'll have you know, Reid, that I did reference it in real life to somebody as if I had seen it. So there's that.
Wow.
That's even better. I love doing that. I love pretending I know things.
Yeah.
Just smack their partner's ass and was like, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
That's Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, whatever. She doesn't ever seen it.
No, I haven't.
Okay, but
Yeah.
to what I wanted to get to, do you think this or a different Ernest movie is something you might go and check out?
I'd probably watch the Christmas one, but probably not the other ones.
Right. I mean, I would definitely watch this,
Sure.
but also Ernest Scared Stupid
It's
is
probably the
an
other
amazing
best
Halloween
one.
movie.
Yeah, that's
Next year.
I'll
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
see.
we only come on for Ernest movies.
I think I might
That
give.
actually was my idea.
Yeah. I might give this Christmas one a try again if it's on Netflix because it's Christmas season and I just want to watch Christmas movies and I obviously can't watch any
Fair.
because we're doing them. But I'll use it as a test to see if this humor is something I would actually enjoy watching. You know what I mean? And then maybe I'll watch the other ones. I
mean,
feel like
in
I could be
describing it,
scared
we
of this
obviously did-
character. I feel like if I had
mean, I think
seen it
that's
at
fair.
all when
Yeah.
I was young, I may have been scared of the character.
I think that's totally fair. But
If I saw that person in real life, I would run.
what I will say is, like, us describing the movie doesn't do justice to
I
the,
think
like,
that's a
physical
crutch.
the
comedy.
physical comedy of it. It's it's like his face, the way his face moves.
Yeah.
Again, that sort of very
I'm
Jim Carrey
familiar
kind
with
of like
that. Like,
rubber face thing.
yeah,
And
I
then
know that
all
that's
of
a
like the physical
characteristic
humor
of
with
him.
like the cab and stuff.
yes, yes.
I think it's worth checking out. Totally.
I might sneak a peeky of it. I might do it. Why?
didn't
Why do you
like
have to
that.
do that? Why do you guys have to do that?
I think it's because of the schoolgirl thing. Now I'm just uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No.
Deeply
Listen,
uncomfortable.
you came on here literally immediately talking about bukkake. You want to know what's uncomfortable?
I would never.
How dare you?
I'm offended.
You guys made me Google it.
We weren't recording that.
I've got the vapors.
Papers, I don't understand.
Clutch my pearls.
I like that.
Well, guys, I want to thank you for coming on,
traumatizing me
with your contractually obligated appearance on our show.
Yeah.
Even though we're the ones who drew up the contracts.
No, we're happy to be here.
Yeah.
Do you know what? There is a part of me that like loves the comedy idea of like taking Alenka, whose podcast is all about not having seen movies generally, and then putting her on a comic book podcast where I'm just going to assume you're not into comic books.
I watched comic book stuff.
I watched comic book stuff. I mean, classic comic book fan speak.
I will say,
I talked about this on the OCD podcast. There were comic books in the house that my brother owned that I was not allowed to touch, but I looked through them anyways.
Oh, what a rebel.
Yeah, I know.
And we all managed to laugh at the wreath opening on your left joke. So we've got some sort of like common touchstones there.
Yeah,
we're all the same.
Yeah. You would die.
Santa, why don't you tell me a little bit about your previous life? No, I think I'll just keep that for me.
I mean, like 1889, like Santa could have been like just legitimately human trafficking.
Oh yeah.
Like,
but he was
like, I was
Santa.
I was suppressing rebellions in the Belgian Congo when Santa came, and he was like, I left this to the last minute, but could you be Santa? And I was like, sure. And
where'd you think all the elves came from?
Oh, no.
Not good.
We are very happy to be on. Thank you for having us.
Thank you for bringing it back.
Well, everyone should also, it's done now, but they should go back and listen to the 12 Days of Darkness.
Oh, no.
That's right.
I just edited the 10th one, and not good.
Yeah, every year on the Dr. DC podcast, our one show, we record 12 episodes on one day and then release them like one a day in the 12 days leading up to Christmas. So it's always kind of outrageous. You can hear our like brains melt a little bit as the episodes go on.
Yeah, chicken nuggets really wrecked our brains.
Yeah, we ate too many chicken nuggets this year.
Nugs.
So you can check that out. And the Dr. DC podcast is our comic book podcast. You can find that places.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email. Do you want to do it?
Do you want me to? Okay, I'll just do it. You can find Dr. DC podcast on Facebook and Instagram at Dr. DC podcast. Twitter at Dr. DC. There's a subreddit. You can find us at drdcpodcast.com or .ca and anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And do you want to do our other podcast?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. More importantly, we have a better podcast all about the TV show Supernatural, where we go through each episode and we talk about some behind the scenes information, and we give reviews about it. It's a lot of fun. It's called Ghostfacers.
by the time people are listening to this episode, we're probably getting close to being done the first season of Supernatural.
That's right. Yeah. So that's Ghostfacers. My God.
That was impeccable.
Oh, Ghostfacers Supernatural Rewatch.
Straight into the mic.
Yeah. I think I caught COVID somehow. Yeah.
Yeah. That was amazing. I love that.
Well, if you want to find us, listeners, you can follow us on Instagram. That's at Haven't Seen a Podcast, and Facebook at Haven't Seen a Podcast, and on Twitter at haven't_seen_it. You can also go to our website, haven'tseenapodcast.com. There we post all the episodes as well as pictures and an entire list of movies Alenka hasn't seen. So go,
you don't want to catch whatever Alenka has. Jesus.
Fuck you.
I think I found my other half.
I mean, I shudder to think of what a You and Alenka podcast would be. It would just be like maximum snark.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It'd be too much.
Amazing.
Oh, you guys, and on that note, be nice in coming into 2021, and I highly 10 out of 10 recommend Googling bukkake. Okay, thank you. Bye.